Hey everyone, and welcome to From the Depths. I'm Minty, and this is another overview video for my Cruiser Clash tournament. This is the CL3 Danalite, or CL300 Danalite, and the CL301 Danburite. I'm probably not pronouncing those right, but so be it. They seem to be identical craft despite the difference in name. There might be some small, subtle differences in here. I'm not entirely sure. I did bring to his attention that these forward-mounted... wow, this thing's driving backwards at the moment. Excellent work. These forward-mounted cannons do not have an ammo input, like the ammo inputs do not have an ammo supply connected. I informed him of this on the forums. Hopefully he'll get that fixed and get the blueprint back to me so that cannon can actually be useful. Otherwise, well, it's just a wasted hunk of RP. So, this thing has a lot of engine. A lot of engine inside. And oh yes, it's got this it's very interesting armor design. I hadn't thought of doing this, but it does make some sense. I maybe would have... Personally, I would have gone with a metal armored hull and just done one craft rather than two. That's my personal preference, though. But by slapping these metal triangle corners, which are probably the cheapest of the 4-meter metal blocks in the game, they still give their full armor value. Well, not their full armor value, but they still count as 10 armor despite having significantly reduced hit points. So that makes the outer layer of this wood have a much higher armor value than it would otherwise. Let's see. I believe it's like 80% and 60%, so wood has, I believe it's 3 armor. Yep, so that'd be 3, then 80%, and that... I'm going to assume it rounds up, so that's another 3, and then 60% of 10 is... So, by doing this, spend about the RP... How much does a metal... 65 RP? And then a wood beam is 40, so that's 80, 145 RP. So, now that's interesting. It has less hit points, but for almost half the RP cost, this outer layer of wood will have about 12 armor. And obviously, it has nowhere, like I said, it has nowhere near the hit points. It still only has 720 health, which, you know, so, but that still has a lot of armor for very little RP. That's a very smart idea. I might have to consider starting to do something like that, even though it doesn't look the greatest. But aesthetics on the inside of the ship aren't exactly important. And it seems like this craft has extra space in it, quite a bit of extra space. And yes, we are sailing backwards. The AI has not had its reverse disabled. So it's just, I'm going to go this way. Not entirely sure why he put them out on the beams like this. I guess maybe to try and aesthetically simulate the drive shafts. Got a whole bunch of lead down here for big old keel. Bring that center of mass down. Let's look at weapons here. It's got 2 sizable looking crams on it. 1320, 1320, 21. So, yes, they are identical cram cannons. I'm assuming this thing's a turret and will turn... Yeah, it's gotta be... Yeah, it's a turret. So that they should have... full 360 degree turn. It's got a laser guider a laser designator up there on top of that turret, so I'm guessing these are laser designated missiles. That's a single pixel IR seeker. And that's single pixel as well. I'm not sure why the laser designator exists. Am I missing something? Are there missiles somewhere that I didn't notice? Don't know why that laser designator is there. Maybe just to make people smoke pop and make them waste fuel. And ammo, but... Anyway. I do like the way this ship looks. It is very ship-like, but it has a sort of futuristic but yet minimalistic feel to it from the outside. Like, this thing looks like a warship, but at the same time, it's got this completely flattened out deck. But it still has, you know, a fantail and a bow and all of the shiply things. I think it looks kind of neat. I like the way this ship looks. Let's... Oh, right, I sent them off over here. There we go. Oh, right in the chair. Okay, that was the one we just looked at. I'm going to double check and make sure that these are, in fact, identical ships. I know that this front one is also missing its ammo. Yeah. Its ammo inputs have not been selected. Are these still single pixel IR? Yeah. And this also has a laser designator. That's strange. I suppose it could be used to try and make an enemy drain resources so they run out of fuel first. But in a 10-minute battle, chances are people are going to be packing plenty of resources. So they only have the last 10 minutes. One last thing I want to look at before I do the combat demo. These engines, see what they do. 5,600 power at 191 power per unit of fuel. It's actually most efficient at 50% RPM. Interesting. But that's a pretty solid engine. Are these... Is this the... I think these might be the exact same engine that I have. I pulled the engines that I have off of the workshop because I suck at engine design. What is this? Precision spin block? What is this? Is he using a spin block to angle his shielding? Can't tell because he apparently has these set to not have their shields on when there is an enemy around. So, let's summon in a couple enemies. Where are those shields? Yeah, there they are. Yeah, that is another good idea I'd never thought of doing, is using a spin block to angle the shields better. Had a bit of a hiccup there with the recording. But as I was saying, Breakthrough definitely has some good ideas with the shielding and using the triangle corners on the inside to boost up the armor for less cost than using a full beam. Oh, are these anti-missile? These are anti-missile cannons. You can tell because there's just missiles out here just exploding for some reason. Interesting. I'm definitely very interested in seeing these ships fight. I really hope he sees my message and fixes the inputs here. So I'm not sure what they're supposed to be, and I'm not going to touch somebody else's blueprint, even though I know it's wrong. It's like I am I'm not doing that. That's opening up a can of worms that I do not want to see. So, if he wants that fixed, he's going to have to do it himself. Or her. Anyway, let's get back to the destruction. Rather large cram shells. Oh, that's AI dead. I have to wonder if cram shells got stealth nerfed or something, because it feels to me like they used to do a lot more damage than that. Like a 1400mm shell should be doing a lot more. Like there shouldn't be anything left of a water buffalo after getting hit by that. But there definitely are. And you know what? Let's put these guys up against something a little bit bigger. Let's see what they do against the Kingstead. I mean, this thing is, its defenses are all armor. It's just all about that armor. And we won't get to see the anti-missile cannons in play, but those anti-missile cannons seem to be rather effective, really good. Oh, sorry about that there again. Jeez. I had another video rendering in the background and it finished, and Movie Maker decided that it really needed to show me that it was finished. And if anybody's wondering, I'm using the NVIDIA Shadowplay to record all of these. But unfortunately, From the Depths is not a supported game, so what I have to do is I have to set it to desktop capture, which means if something like that happens, yeah, you're going to see my desktop and whatever I have open and whatnot, unfortunately. But it's the software I have, so I'm going to make use of it. But yeah, these things are, they're just kind of laughing at the Kingstead. Its shells are not able to do anything, and those the missiles don't seem to be doing a whole lot. They're not very big missiles, and there's not many of them, so they don't pack that big of a punch. But those cram shells, they blow some holes. As I was saying before, I don't know if they got stealth nerfed or if they got nerfed and I just didn't notice the thing or what happened, but it feels like when Frams first came out, they would make a much bigger hole than that. And now they don't. Maybe it was the armor update that changed things, I don't remember. But I haven't personally been able to build a cram shell that I've been happy with the damage output of in quite some time. But against the Kingstead, they work rather well. You know what'll be interesting to see is these two ships here, Danalite and Danalite, facing off against the Ironsides. That's going to be one interesting battle to see just two cram-oriented ships just, well, a cram-oriented ship and a team of two cram-oriented ships just blasting away at each other. They have very similar design philosophies, it seems. Though the Ironsides has, I think its guns were like 1406mm compared to these ones 1320. So the Ironsides has a slight firepower advantage, at least in terms of just sheer damage per shot. But who knows? That'll definitely be an interesting fight. I look forward to seeing that one. Oh, I've got control of a missile controller. That's... whoops. Anyway. This is the Danalite and Danalite by Breakthrough. And I'm looking forward to seeing them fight. Good luck out there on the battlefield.